That thing you've been wondering about. It just may be true, and we just might talk about it here on Bible News Radio that starts right now.
So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
I woke up today with a smile on my face. Sounds like a song I wrote yesterday, but I feel that way again. I'm feeling real good again. Like a good umbrella on a rainy day, or a road trip riding on a full tank. I feel real good again. I'm feeling real good again. And everything will be okay, cause all my blues are gone away. So I just gotta sing the happy song. Singing all day long. When the sun is going, I'm still happy till the brand new dawn. My song, singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today. So won't you help me sing the happy song? Do 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 do.
There you are, Bareface.
I can see the sun and it's shining so bright. So bright. I gotta say that twice. I said I can see the sun and it's shining bright.
I can see the sun and shining bright.
That's a total of 3 times.
Yep.
Cause all my blues are gone away, so I just gotta sing the happy song.
Sing it all day long.
When the sun is gone,
I'm still happy till the brand new dawn.
my song, singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today. So won't you help me sing
The happy song. So everybody clap your hands.
and everybody do your dance.
Like a white person.
Though we can't see our hands,
Unless you're not white, then you can dance how you are.
comes in more. So clap your hands and do your dance. Sometimes we mourn, but I found joy and a happy song.
And this is where she plays the saxophone in her video.
This is my happy
Song. Sing it all day long.
when the sun is gone.
You should put Rick on so he could sing.
I'm still happy from the day you done my song. Singing all day long. And maybe I will see the rain, but happiness is here today.
He's just drinking his Spidey coffee. The happy song. Do 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
So there you go, people. Now, when I put this on YouTube, they will flag it because I played Jamie's song, but whatever, who cares? Anyway, hello, everybody. Happy Friday to you people out there. I'm looking at you. I'm looking deep into your soul. Yes, I am. Okay, maybe not. You know, do you know how hard it is for me not to be funny? Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. Okay, before we get into the show, I have to share a story, okay? Because and you guys all know Rick's here. He's in the house. Yeah, he's here. Don't worry. He's gonna have most of the show. But I have to first of all, I'm gonna welcome you all. Thank you for sharing, okay? And all you replay viewers, as everybody always says, and it makes me laugh, the hearts do matter on the replay. Not that I really care all that much about the hearts, but I kind of do a little bit, just a little teeny weeny bit. Just I admit it. But anyway, okay. So today I had to go to assisted living to see my dad. How many of you guys know my dad's in assisted living, right? If you watch us, you know that. And so I'm sitting there listening to this guy named Ben Franklin. True story. This is his real name, Ben Franklin. And I know there's more than one Ben Franklin in the world, but Ben Franklin comes in once a month and he plays beautiful beautiful music. I mean, piano music, today he played the Beatles and Frank Sinatra and some people I don't know who they were, like way back, like people from the 20s, right? So he's playing all this beautiful music. And this guy comes and sits down at the table me and my dad and Ann are actually sitting at, and I look at him and he's starting to nod off. And then he has his hand on the table and he's playing the piano and he's nodding off and everything. And I'm like, I wonder if this guy is a retired piano player, And I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, this guy he's got to be like a retired car salesman. He kind of had that look, like a guy who wears a suit from the 60s or something, He just had the slick hair and just square looking and, like buff. That's what I mean. Square is in, manly man looking, kind of like Rick, anyway. And so as I'm, watching this guy, I'm wondering all these things, right? Well, Ben gets done playing. He goes around, shakes everybody's hand. He says stuff, and all this other stuff. And then he leaves, and Anne says to this guy, she calls him Doctor. And Anne's first husband, who left her for a nurse, was also a doctor, so she knows doctors pretty well. Anyway, and so Anne starts talking to this guy who's a doctor. I thought he was a car salesman. Turns out he was a doctor. So I said, "You're a doctor?" And he's like, "Yep." I go, "Wow, like what did you practice?" And he said, "Well, I like to play with pee. I was a urologist." And then he said, not because I liked poop any less than pee, but and so I'm sitting there and this guy's saying this. Okay, this is a true story. This is funny, right? Okay, remember this guy's old. Anyway. And so I said, "Did you ever play piano?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "Okay, so I said, "Okay. So I said, "Why did you decide that you wanted to become a urologist?" Now, first of all, how many of you know a urologist? I mean, you don't have to admit it, but, just saying. How many of you have ever given urine and you've thought, who analyzes this stuff? I mean, who wants to, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're human, you probably have gone through this experience. But anyway, and I've thought, yeah, whatever. Anyway. So he goes, "Well, I originally wanted to be an ear, throat, nose doctor," and
otorhinolaryngologist, yes.
Yeah, and I said,
easy for me to say, not.
And he said, "But I decided to become a urologist instead." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because everything flows out." And what is he talking about, right? So anyway, long story short, he said ETNs deal with people who never really get better. But he said, the reason why I became a urologist is because almost virtually everybody I treated always got better. He said he had a friend that became a brain surgeon. And when asked how he felt about his job, his answer was, it wasn't so bad once you get used to seeing people die. So I thought, this is interesting. It's not every day. Doctors are unique. And I actually told the guy, I asked him, I said, "Are you a firstborn by any chance?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I'm not surprised. You're a firstborn." So this is what I learned. So here's the thing. Next time you go to a urologist, just know that maybe that person who is a urologist became a urologist because he actually wants to see you get better, because the urologists actually have the most success with the people that they treat, as opposed to like a brain doctor or somebody with allergies and has to deal with noses and throats and stuff. And you can say that when you go see your urologist, you can actually say that you heard about this on Bible News Radio. You can tell them my name, and it won't mean anything to them, but you will actually remember this story because I just told you to. I just implanted that in your memory forever and ever. Next time you go to a urologist, you're going to think of me, just so you know. So, yeah. So without further ado, I thought that was so funny. Yeah. Anyway. I gotta invite Rick on to the screen. Hi, Rick.
Hey, what's up?
So what did you think of what I just shared? Isn't that the funniest story ever?
That was very, very edifying to my soul.
I mean, seriously though, haven't you ever thought, why do people become a urologist? I mean, really, haven't you thought that? Who wants to play with pee and poop? Seriously, I mean, that's actually what the guy said too.
Yeah, that's different strokes for different folks, I guess.
But see, his reason was because those people get better the best.
It's true, I guess. Yeah, makes sense.
So there you go. Well, I want to welcome you to the show, Rick. Thank you for coming on. I think this is your third or fourth time coming on. I don't remember.
I think the third, I think.
Yeah, but look at you. Look how skinny you are.
Yeah.
Look at you. I'm going to have to call you String Bean or something like that.
I used to be one.
You are one.
No, I was like as skinny as these little Ethiopian who had, little kids that haven't eaten in months.
Well, yeah, but usually they're starving and they have little pouched stomachs because of that malnutrition.
True.
You are not starving, but you look good. So, what is the secret to your weight loss success? Let's pretend I'm Oprah right now. So,
all right, well,
Pastor Rick.
Is there going to be something under the chair, like a free car thing? Or
yeah,
no?
I'll give you a matchbox later.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or
Well, I did a cool book from you, though.
Oh, you got that? Oh, yeah. I sent that a long time ago.
Yeah, that was very good. So I tried doing either exercise by itself or trying to eat right by itself. And they get a little bit of results. Well, with the eating, probably more than just the exercising. The eating, one time I did the Atkins diet. And in a month, I lost 15 pounds. This was a long time ago. And then the very first time I ever did the Daniel fast, I lost in 21 days 15 pounds. But then, of course, it all comes right back eventually. And exercise sometimes helps, but I kind of realized that, you know what, you got to do both. For me anyway, I had to do both. And what finally set me off is I got on the scale and I saw it said 209 pounds. I was like, wait, what? When did that happen? What? Like, 200 was like for a while. I'm like, yeah, it's not great. You really need to do something. 200, come on, man. Then when I saw 209 all of a sudden unexpectedly, I was like, whoa, stop, put the brakes on. And so I was like, all right, you got to do something. So that's when I decided, all right, it's time to get serious. Pay attention to what you eat. I looked at the calories of everything, kind of mostly go by that. And I'll just, in my mind, keep a tally more or less of what I'm eating. I'm like, don't go overboard. And I've been walking. Somebody very graciously gave me, it's called a jawbone up move for free. They gave this to me, and it tracks your steps. And I think I have 2,000 more steps to go today, so I got to squeeze that in later somehow. But yeah, I started walking at least 10,000 steps every day. I just go outside when the weather was good and just walk and walk and walk. And that was the start. And when I did it both, the walking and the watching what I ate, all of a sudden it was like, there was one week where I even posted, I lost a pound a day, like every day, bam, 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 bam. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So
that is crazy. Yeah. But it's also very good. And I have to tell you that I have studied the ketogenic diet very intensely for the last year, actually. And I could tell you a whole bunch of stuff that would totally debunk everything you just said. But yeah, pretty much. Are you familiar with the ketogenic diet?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. Is it similar to Atkins at all?
It actually is. It's basically high fat, low carb. And the idea behind it is that if you eat more fat, because see what's happened in the food industry, and this is interesting, and I only know this because I've been listening to this guy and transcribing his stuff for a year. Basically, the food pyramid that was put in by the government was completely not based on anything valid. The 10,000 steps that we're all programmed to do now has zero basis in science or anything. Zero. You can Google it. It's actually true. The guy that came up with the whole 10,000 steps a day thing actually was trying to sell shoes. True story. He made this thing. He was like, well, I don't know, 10,000 steps. That'll work. So there really is no actual basis in that. If you do any of this stuff, like the food pyramid is completely wrong, and all that, and the diseases of civilization, which is interesting. This is what he calls it, like cancer, all these different things. It's all tied back to eating sugar and a lot of carbohydrates. In fact, there was a woman who lived to be 117 years old. I actually just learned this yesterday. She's like one of the oldest living women in the world. And she just recently died. She didn't eat vegetables her whole life. She ate meat and eggs and occasionally a couple of cookies, like snickerdoodles. True story. And it's funny because if you go back into the literature like 100 years ago, people ate butter, they ate meat, they ate eggs, they ate all this good stuff. Because what happens is your brain, when you're going low carb and high sugar, what happens is all that stuff converts, and that's why we're so fat as a country. And it also creates problems like thyroid problems and stuff. And what's interesting too is that thyroid is like the number one issue that most women have in America. And nobody knows why. And I'm actually convinced that a lot of it has to do with psychotropic medication people have been put on. And I also think that it has to do with how we've been marketed junk, like genetically modified food. And we've been told to low fat, don't do it. But the problem is that I think it's all tied to your brain issues and stuff. And if you don't have enough fat, your brain ain't going to function correctly, and all that. So my guess is what's happened with you is you started actually paying attention to what you ate, and you started walking more, and for you it works. But what Dr. Adam Nally says is that calories don't matter. What matters is your hormones, and whether or not your hormones are in check, as opposed to really what you consume. It's your hormonal balance versus how much fat you're getting and how few carbs you're getting, because the carbs turn to sugar, and when you eat sugar and all that stuff, it just that just converts to fat. I mean,
with
bad
me personally,
stuff.
I'm a carnivore, and I've always been a carnivore.
Yeah.
So I've never really been a big carb eater anyway, other than maybe bread with a hamburger, if you want to count that.
Yeah.
But I've never been a big starch or sweets. My mom even used to say, I've never seen any kid like you that doesn't want sweet stuff. I'm like, it just has no appeal for me. I've never been into it.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget my two grandmothers I saw one day sit down eating as if it was steak, 2 big pieces of pork fat. I was like, what in the world are you doing? She's like, this is how we've always eaten all our lives. I was like, really? I was like, in America, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you're killing yourself. But they're like, no, this is how we've eaten all our lives. So,
yeah. Well, and it's true. That really is the truth. By the way, we should say hi to people, don't you think, Tracy?
What's up, people?
I saw you come in, and there's so many of us, the tribe, and thank you guys for coming in. There's Mia, and Liz, and Mark, Quan, and there's God Loves You, and Mama Gina, and Larissa, and Andrea, and Cat Face. There's Tracy. Hi, Trace. There's Rob, Pastor Rick, and Lorenzo, and I'm trying to see who else I can see. Terry, and David, and Chapel Hill Media. That's a bear face, in case you didn't know that. So here's to all of you guys. There you go. I did brush my teeth, so that shouldn't stink when it hits you. Could you just imagine the technology? I could actually literally throw a kiss at all of you, and it'd go like right here. Oh, there's one for you too. To my co-host. There you go.
One person I saw said that they're actually experiencing a hurricane, so I said we're gonna. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and of course, eating in moderation, that's definitely a big thing. But what happens is, and I think, and then we can change the subject here, but here's the interesting thing is that the diet industry has tricked people into eating the stuff that they're not supposed to be eating, and they're calling it healthy, when in reality, it's completely not healthy. Sugar is an addiction, and the more sugar you eat, you're going to get depressed. And I know this, Rick, because I actually, a couple years back, I was over 300 pounds, and now I'm not. But I can tell you, having switched my diet in the last couple of years in particular, that if I eat a lot of sugar, man, I'm gone. I'm like totally tired, or carbs, totally tired. But if I eat a hamburger or anything good, like thick meat, bacon, eggs, I can eat a ton of eggs. See, eggs aren't bad for you either. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Anything that God made for you is okay. But anyway.
Exactly. When I was young, my whole family was put on a cholesterol restricted diet because everybody had high cholesterol except me. And I'm like, well, why do I have to suffer eating all this crap? Because I was like, man, I'm used to eating what my mom usually cooks. And no, high cholesterol. Da, da, da. But the other day I went to a birthday party, and again, I've been eating good for so long that I'm not used to having anything sugary or sweet. And let me tell you that at night, evening night, I was so exhausted because I ate a stupid cupcake.
You know what? I think that's why I was tired earlier. Okay, so Catface, you, and Tracy, and I think one other person I was Marco Poloing with earlier, like 2 hours before the show. I'm like, I'm so tired. It just occurred to me I had a cupcake today. I did. Well, they celebrated birthdays at my dad's place, but it was a little cupcake too. It wasn't even a big one. But man, I was just feeling totally tired, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's because I'm actually feeling okay now. It was 2 hours later. I had some Italian sausage for dinner, and I actually feel pretty good right now. I don't feel tired like I was 2 hours ago. So, yeah. Well, we congratulate you. If I was a member of Weight Watchers, I'd give you a pin and say, here you go. Here you go.
I'm still trying to lose. I want to get down to 175. I'm at 181 right now. So I'm getting close.
That's not bad. Well, you look great. You look great, Bear.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. I almost called you Bareface. Sorry.
Almost.
I'm so used to calling people Bareface these days.
Maybe pick a different animal or something. I don't know.
Who else do you call Bareface?
I don't.
Uh-oh.
We gotta come up with a different name for Rick. What should we call? Hey, let's nickname Pastor Rick right now. Let's see. What can we nickname him? Mr. Cutie
people
Pie.
do call me the Flash.
The Clash.
Flash.
Flash. The Flash. The Flasher. How's that?
No, not the Flash.
No, I'm kidding about that.
Like the superhero, the one that runs really fast.
Yeah.
Because I used to do those morning scopes, and it was like 30 seconds or the minute, and it was done. So they're like, you're gone in a flash. You're like, oh, we're going to call you the Flash.
Do you like that one? I mean, do you feel like that fits you?
The name?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. From here on out, we will refer to you as Mr. Pastor Flash.
Sure. Larissa does.
Yeah. Pastor Flash? That's what she calls you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? PF for short, huh?
Larissa, testify.
That's awesome. Okay, so we got Pastor Flash and Pastor Bareface in the house. And but here's the thing. You're a real pastor, unlike Bareface. He's really not, right? So, I mean, he's not ordained. So you actually got ordained? Let's talk about this, because all of a sudden this week you showed up as Pastor Rick Costa, and everybody's like, who the heck is this Mr. Ricardo Costa? Rick.
Oh, no, it's got my real name on it. No.
Lucy? Ricky Ricardo? No, just kidding. I'm sure you haven't heard that before.
The whole thing with that is, like, all my life pretty much, people have said to me, you have like a pastor's heart. People have said, I dreamed that I was in your church and you were the pastor. I'm like, really? People all my life, it keeps coming back over and over and over. You have a pastor's heart. Da, da, da. And so then this whole Jesus did it thing movement grew and stuff, and people just, without me saying anything, started calling me Pastor Rick. I'm like, wow, that's wild. So just this week, I'm like, all right, I give up. I will stop fighting this and let myself be called Pastor Rick officially. So,
aw,
what happened?
Okay, well, you said Jesus did it, so of course, here, I gotta show you some stuff. I don't know if I can.
Yay!
There's me in the Jesus did it shirt, but my hair wasn't perfect in that one. So,
okay.
So then I took this one. That one wasn't perfect either. So then I did that one. I actually have a whole bunch of these Jesus did it.
Wow.
I told Randall, I said, I look like a goofball. Here, I'm pointing to myself. You know, I was doing the Fonzie thing earlier. I did that one. That's special, isn't it, people? Yeah.
It's nice.
So there you go. Do you know how hard it is to take a selfie when you're short? Just saying, people. So tell everybody. I mean, how tall are you? You're short too, right?
Oh, that's a secret. That's a joke amongst my people. We never tell anybody how tall I am, and it drives one particular guy crazy.
Really?
And we do it just for him.
Oh, okay.
He always asks me, "How tall are you?" I'm gonna guess. I'm like, "Nope, we're not telling you. Nope, it's a secret." Oh, you know what? I just remembered something else going back to the weight loss thing.
Yes.
Was another thing that was really strange, and actually, even though it's not really a big deal for me, it was like, so hard. God was like, I need you to look the part of what you want to be. I'm like, what? He's like, start wearing like tank tops and stuff that fit people wear because that's what you want to be. And I'm like, in front of people? Yes, in front of people. I was like, no. And then the first time I went to church with a tank top on, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, just get used to it. And it was like a mental thing. I think God was really getting my mind ready. Like, you're in this to win it. Like, you're committed, and show everybody that you are really serious about it. And it was just a mental thing that God had me do it. I'm like, okay.
All right. Now, this is funny. Okay. Now, as you guys know, we have the weirdest conversations with Pastor Flash here. And we don't plan this. Okay. This is a true story. Okay. So I saw the Jesus Did It tank top on Catface. Okay. She did her scope, talk about her knee and stuff. And I was like, hey, that looks kind of good on her. And then I saw that Becky had posted a picture with herself in one. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get, I want one. So I went to the website and I logged on and I was like, okay, I have never worn a tank top. I mean, I literally have never worn a tank top since probably I was a kid. And I can't even remember wearing any when I was a kid. Okay. True story. But I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and buy one. So I bought an extra large and thinking, this is not that you all care about the process, but because Rick brought this up, Pastor Flash took. Okay. So I bought an extra large because I'm well endowed by my creator, right? Very true story. That is genetics. It's not weight. It's actually genetics. Me and Dolly Parton could probably be related. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. And yes, she is in the works of getting on my show, just in case you didn't know that. Okay. I posted the email yesterday. They're looking into it. Okay. But anyway, aside from that, after I ordered the extra large, because I thought, no, I'm not going to get the double X, because I'm finally at the place where I'm wearing clothes my size, which actually is flattering, because if you wear clothes too big, that makes you look fatter, which I never realized, but whatever. Anyway, long story short, right after I ordered the shirt, everybody says, get this order up in size. I'm like, oh man. I thought, no, I'm not going to worry about it. So the extra large came, I put it on, it was so tight. And I'm like, oh, this is so tight. I doubt I'm going to go wear this at pickleball because that's why I bought it. And I put it on, I thought, well, I'll just have it on for a while, you know, and so I wore it. And yes, in the picture that I took there, and I know you all care about this, I wasn't wearing my sports bra, so I wasn't lifted as much as I could have been. And just so you know, for larger busted women, if you wear a sports bra that lifts you, it actually makes you look smaller when you're actually wearing clothes better, right? So, long story short, this morning, I put on my sports bra, and I put the shirt on, and sure enough, it felt a lot better. And I thought, you know what? I am going to go to pickleball. I'm going to wear this to pickleball, and I'm going to be brave. I was so self-conscious, Rick. I went to pickleball this morning in that shirt, and played pickleball for almost 2 hours in that tank top, showing my arms, all that. And what was so funny was I felt great doing it. Everybody complimented me, told me how good I looked, and they were telling the truth. I mean, they weren't going, oh, look at you, you know. In fact, one guy said to me, Jesus did what? And then I said, really? And then I opened my arms. I said, he died for you, Bruce. He died for you, buddy. And Bruce said, you're right. And when I made a really good shot, I pointed to my shirt. And I said, yes, Jesus did it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah, people were complimenting me too. I was like, wow, that shocked me. Then one guy was like, "Oh, you're working on your triceps?" I was like, "No, I'm just walking."
there you go. Well, it's funny though because I mean, I'm bigger, I get it, but I'm also toned, and if anybody dares to want to take me on a pickleball, I bet you I'll beat you. Just saying. Now you can run past me, no problem. You could probably do a lot of other stuff, but pickleball, you're down. Except Raymond. Last night, Raymond, who's on my show, he is way better than me. As he said, I play pickleball like a swan on roller skates. That's what he said. And I was like, thank you for that. I think I'll take that as a compliment. So how did the Jesus Did It thing come about? Because you allowed me to come on and be one of the extra broadcast. I guess what am I, an addendum broadcaster, or how does that work?
Also see.
Yeah. Huh? What did Randall say?
I said, also see, I was checking the website earlier, and it was, here's the Jesus Did It broadcasters, and then, and here are the also catch these broadcasts kind of thing. So also see.
Oh, we're the also see category? Gotcha.
Yeah. The other wonderful broadcasters to bless you category. That's what it says right above everybody there. So anyway, when I first joined Periscope, I kind of sort of quickly got involved in I guess you call it a tribe, called Scope Nation, and it was a lot about bettering yourself and entrepreneurship, but it was also some God stuff because pretty much most people were Christians in there and whatever. And I was very into that and supporting them and trying to even help and even do stuff for the leader of it, like behind the scenes, helping her out and stuff, emailing for her and whatever. And so I was like, wow. But then, and then I got to the point where I'm like, I can do broadcasts. So I got brave, and I said, well, what needs to be done that nobody's really doing? And I was like, well, some people sing, some people occasionally read some scripture. I was like, well, why don't I do both? I'll sing and I'll do scripture, and then we'll pray too if they need prayer. So I was like, that's kind of sort of unique. So I did that, and I started doing that in October 2015, and then just, when you start doing it for a while, people start to, get attracted to you and join up with you and stuff. And then some people even started to broadcast, and they attribute it to me encouraging them. And, praise God if that's the case. So they started to broadcast, and I was like, you know what, this is cool. This is cool. These people all broadcast. And then they came up with the hashtag Jesus Did It. And I was like, hey, if you want to be part of this movement, put in hashtag Jesus Did It in your title, and then you'll be like part of this thing, and we'll see if we can start this thing up, which was like the Scope Nation thing. That's what we used to do over there. Oh, Jason said Rick's my mentor. Thank you, Jason.
Aww.
And so yeah, and people just started to come, and I saw so many people getting brave and starting to broadcast, and God was like kind of saying like, this person, you're gonna team up with them, blah, blah, blah. And so now we're at 14 people that are officially Jesus Did It broadcasters, and then of course you and a whole bunch of other people. Now that's even grown too. Like I added another person, other people that we love to watch too, and are recommended. And not even all those are necessarily even Christian people. Like Cynthia, she doesn't do religious scopes. She just does very good motivational scopes, kicks you in the duff, as she likes to say. But she's such a blessing to so many people. I was like, oh yeah, I got to put her up there too. And so, yeah, and then the products and the shirts and all that stuff, that just eventually happened and whatnot. Oh, by the way, if you want me to put your picture on the website, let me know.
Oh yeah, I do. That's why I sent it to you.
Okay, cool.
Although I could send you a different one where I looked really super hot.
Whichever one.
Actually, I look really short in that tank top, in my opinion.
I didn't even think that when I saw it.
Really?
No.
Well, you know how we're our own worst critics,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
most definitely.
But see, that is so cool, and I think it's great. And what's funny to me is who would think that people would tune into a broadcast just to hear somebody pray and sing?
Right. Yeah,
You know what I
you'd be
mean?
surprised.
And I mean, I think it's really interesting, and I think it's neat how God has raised up the community, and that's really what it is. It's, you know, Larissa talks about doing community well, and it's really interesting to me because, you know, we got Pastor Pete and we got Pastor Tommy, and you know, there's different messages from each person, and yet the body, when it works well together, like a well-oiled machine, you know, it's a blessing to so many people, and I think that's why God has raised it up. I mean, we do Bible News Radio, and you know, I've done this show for a long time. I have a unique perspective, and you know, and here we are. You know what I mean? So I just think it's really cool. I don't get it, but I love it. You know, I just think
Yeah, like I'm still shocked. Like, God, I had no idea you had this in the works. Like, I had no idea it was going to grow like this. I had no idea that there was going to be like 14 people now. And if you look at everybody, it's like all different races, all different types of people. It's so varied, you know. And I imagine like Jesus and his 12 disciples probably were all extremely varied type people too. So it's just really, really cool. And you know what? If somebody doesn't like me, then there's 13 other people you can watch that you might like them. So there's a little bit of everybody, something for everybody. And it's really cool. I'm like amazed at what God's doing. And then the miracles we see is like unbelievable. It's like, wow, seriously? Like, even, you know, I'm sitting here in Connecticut praying for somebody, maybe not even in America. And they're like, they come back later and they're like, oh, I went to the doctor and I have no cancer now. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I just let the fruit speak for itself.
Well, you know, I've heard the story about my friend at pickleball that was super sick. She lost like 30 pounds. They didn't know why, etc. Blah blah blah. I started listening to Tommy, and you know, she was like, "Stacy, go pray for her." I'm like, "I wanted to pray for her. God told me to, but then I said no. I'm not going to do it." And then I told her off screen, you know, off air. I said, okay, yeah, I chickened out. And I promised Pastor Tommy, I said, okay, next time I see her, I'm going to do it. And then, you know, it was like a week or two later, she was there, and I was like, oh, no, I have to go pray for this woman, and I don't want to because I'm scared, God. Mrs. Beebold, stand up and go with God because he loves you. I know, right? You know. But then, here's the thing. I went and did it, and then Jesus did it. He actually healed this woman. And I have to tell you that today I was sitting there with her, and she is looking fatter, and she told me she's gained almost all the 30 pounds that she lost back, and she's back playing pickleball. And I'm serious, she literally thought that she was on her way out. I mean, she literally thought she was going to die. And so God healed it and healed her. And yet the interesting thing is, even in my pickleball community, and not all of them are believers, there's one guy, we always post pictures, and we have an artist who posts some weird like art, and anyway, and then this other guy in our private group, he actually started putting icons on, like JR, he went ahead and made a thing with a spacecraft and aliens, and then he took our heads and put it on there. And so I was like the lead alien, just so you know. And then they did another one with these weird things, and my friend David, he's like, he went and he took icons, and he said, guess who the icons are? You know, guess based on the icon I put in here on the body of whatever. You know, there was like a kangaroo, there's like a Filipino flag. And what do you think they used for me?
I don't know.
A Bible.
Oh, duh.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I saw the Bible, and I'm like, that's me, right? He's like, yep. So it's funny because you don't necessarily see how people see you, but, you know, I've had people come to me behind the scenes and other stuff, and, you know, ask about God and say, you know, can you pray for me? Can you help me with this? I don't get this. Can you mentor me? And, you know, there is a thirst there. And that's what I think is interesting about this community. Even the ages of the people who are in it, you know, we're all in the same generation within about 20 years of each other, except for Pastor Pete. He's way older. But, I'm just kidding. I sent him a card with little dinosaurs on it, just so you know.
Cool. I think I just added a new guy, Javon. I think he's like 23. So I think he's probably the youngest. You know? Good.
So he's like a modern day Timothy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I told him he was on doing his own broadcast. And I said, hey, guess what? You're officially official now. He's like, what? Oh, he was so excited.
See, that's so cool. But see, that's what it's got to be, right? And doesn't it encourage you to know that there are people out there making disciples? That's what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, that's another thing I love about this is that it's not about any one person. It's not a one-man show at all. And there's such variety, and like I said before, if you don't like one person, there's other people you can watch, but we're all a team, we're all a community, we all love each other, and we all, like any family, sometimes we have little arguments, whatever, but then we love each other, kiss and make up, and we move on. But yeah, it's really cool. It's like amazing to see what God has done and maybe what he's going to continue to do. I don't know.
Well, here's what I think, in case anybody cares out there. In February, I think it is, of next year, 2018, Periscope Summit is meeting up again, just so you know. And it's in California, and I'm going to it. And, if you guys, it's a number of months away. The tickets are like $100 or something. I'm actually not sure what hotel it's going to be at, but hopefully not the Biltmore like this year, because the internet was really bad. But that's definitely a place that you can plan on going if you want to meet up with me anyway. Or let me also say, Prophecy Watchers is having a prophecy conference in October, a couple of days after my birthday. Not that they planned it that way, but anyway. And Randall and I, and this is a praise report, I was telling Kat earlier, Randall and I are going to be going to it. We're going to be trying to broadcast there. Bob Ulrich and Gary Stearman, who head up that ministry, actually gave me missionary tickets. Missionary privilege is what they called it. So in other words, I get in for free. The hotel is going to cost about $500. I had somebody donate that to me this week.
Wow.
So that was paid for. The guy didn't know it. And somebody else gave me a little extra money, which is going to pay for our rental car to get down there. So that trip is paid for. So if you guys want to meet us in Oklahoma, just want to let you know that we'll be there in October, and we'll be there for like 3 or 4 days, I think. So, come on out to Prophecy Watchers. In fact, I'm hoping to get Bob and Gary on to talk about it. If you can't make it directly to Oklahoma, then they also have a live streaming thing, which you can also live stream it too. But the thing for me that's super cool is that we've interviewed half of the speakers. They have like 33 speakers coming, and we've had over half of them on our show over the last decade. There's Dr. Ron Rhodes, and there's Bill Salas, and Gary Stearman, Bob Ulrich, Derek and Sharon Gilbert from Skywatch TV, Tom Horn and his wife Nita, and just a whole bunch of other people. Gary Frazier, who's another prophecy expert, and just a ton of people. It's in Norman, Oklahoma, so it's I don't know how far that is from the main place, but it's a 10-hour drive from where I live here in Tennessee, which is going to be a long drive. I'm not looking forward to that part, but I am looking. Oh, L.A. Marzulli is going to be there too. Yeah, and a whole bunch of people. So that would be a place that you could go to if you want to plan to come on out and in October. We could do that too. So
is this where you do your skillful segue into recognizing our sponsor?
Oh.
No.
Do you want to do it?
I can.
Let Bareface. And now a word from our sponsor.
I am not that sponsor, but I do want to take this moment to recognize and give thanks.
ARIEL?
Yeah. There's a problem here, sort of a disc hiccup, and so I was waiting for the video to come across. Ariel Ministries, find them online at ariel.org. Ariel, that's Hebrew for Lion of God. Ariel Ministries, who they are, they're a nonprofit organization committed to evangelizing Jewish people and discipling Jewish and Gentile believers in Yeshua, Messiah, Jesus the Christ. And one of the ways they support their ministry is by selling resources in print, in audio, and video. And anytime and every time you purchase something from them and use the coupon code Bible News, unique to all y'all listening or watching this broadcast, use Bible News and you'll save 20%. A special they've got going on right now, still going on as far as I know, is this 7-part series bundle from Dr. David L. Cooper, a just a brilliant theologian from the 20th century. But his writing is not difficult to read. There's a 7-part series bundle which includes the God of Israel, Messiah, his nature and person, Messiah, his redemptive career, Messiah, his first coming scheduled, Messiah, his historical appearance, Messiah, his glorious appearance imminent, and Messiah, his final call to Israel. And just for $32, 7 books for $32, and you can still use the coupon code Bible News and save an additional 20%, bringing it down to, what, $25 and change, 32 minus $6.40, so yeah, 25 something. And for those of you watching, there's the bit.ly link, bit.ly/Gooper_books, and that will take you right to the special. And let's see, I should also mention, the Bible News Radio Classroom?
You can.
Maybe you want to talk about that, or should I?
Well, I did it. This is actually the first class that I have ever done, for a class. And my gift is teaching, unless you've actually been in one of my actual classes. If you like what I do here, you'll like the class. Let's just put it that way. If you can't stand me and you can't stand to look at me, you'll hate the class. You'll be like, I've had enough of her. But if you enjoy who I am here, you'll enjoy the class. This is actually a class that God really did birth. I mean, he really gave me the word here. And it ministered to me after 30 years of being a Christian. So it's, I've named it Stop Lying to Yourself, Your Secret's Not Secret, The Cost of Becoming Real, which is a long name. But it's really a course that teaches you to be authentic. And I really have a hard time naming the class. I don't know what to name it, except to say that it's a study on King David and how Nathan busted him, but all the stuff that goes into that, plus what you're missing when you're not being authentic. And, look, a lot of people talk about authenticity. Very few people practice it. And you know what? And Grateful Chick said the class is awesome. So, check it out. I priced it. I've been told I should have priced it at like $300. True story. Actually, people in the class have told me that. And it's $26 with the discount. So, go do it. It took me, quite a while. It took me about 20 hours to put it together, and it's 2 hours long. And it's broken down into 20-minute segments, give or take. So you can watch it at your leisure. And there's a money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, if you absolutely hate it, you can watch the whole thing and then say, I hate that. Give me my money back. I'll cry if you do that. But anyway, I will tell you that that it's worth it. It really is worth it. So check it out. And there is a 5-minute promo video where I actually talk about it more. You guys can watch that when you go to that link. The other thing I wanted to tell you too, you can become a pillar of our community. That's really where we're trying to grow our show, is with the pillars, because, I put in an estimated, let's see here, probably between 150, 200 hours a month into doing what I do. And I know everybody thinks, I just get on and it happens, right? No, it doesn't. Just so you know, it takes me a long time to book our guests, and, and then we do the show. And this doesn't include all the time Randall puts in as my partner. And so all we ask is that if you want to become a pillar of the community, just donate $25 or more a month. And some people are like, well, I can't afford $25. I think you can. I think anybody can. I can tell you that when you want something bad enough, you'll find a way, right? Ask any drug addict, just so you know. But $25 or more a month, and it was my pillars that told me to make that rate, right? So just donate that. We'll put you into our Facebook group. We'll fellowship in there. We have a monthly meetup on Zoom. But the main thing is you're actually ministering to us as we minister and give and give and give out. And you know what? Our financial needs are not being met through this. I do a lot of extra work on the side to help meet bills. And my goal is to be able to get rid of that extra work so I can do this full time. That's really my goal. So you can go over to our website, BibleNewsRadio.com/give, and give what you can. And those of you who do, thank you very much. I totally appreciate it. All right, I got to tell you, though, a couple more people at this conference. So Gary Stearman, Tom Horn, Derek and Sharon Gilbert, Tommy Ice is going to be there, L.A. Marzulli, Mark Hitchcock is going to be there. I've met him in person. Bill Salas, Randall Price is going to be there. Tommy Ice, Jonathan Kahn is going to be there. Bill Koenig, Tim Alberino, Billy Crone, Pastor Billy Crone, excellent pastor. Gary Frazier, Ron Rhodes, David Hawking is going to be there. Brent Miller, he's going to be there. I've had him on our show. And then there's a couple of people I haven't had on that I'm seeing here. But Paul McGuire, if you grew up in California, you would know Paul McGuire is one of the top Christian radio hosts out in that area. Carl Teichribb is coming down from Canada. By the way, I should ask you all to pray for Carl Teichribb. Last night, a deer ran into his vehicle and totaled it. And I have to tell you, this week, my own brother, my real brother, my actual brother, actually a deer hit his car too. Fortunately, his truck was not totaled, but the side, just he's got to get it fixed. Let's put that. I don't know if it's Ronnie Floyd or not. But anyway, all that to say that there's a lot of people. In fact, one of the people that's there, Jeff Kinley, who's going to be there, he's actually going to be on our show next week. He wrote the book called The End of America, Bible Prophecy in a Country in Crisis. Jeff Kinley is my guest on Tuesday, and he'll be at the Prophecy Watchers Conference as well. And Wednesday, guess who's going to come to Bible News Radio, people? If you said Laura Royer is going to be in the house, then you would know Laura is going to be in the house for her first time ever on Bible News Radio. Catch Your Money, Laura Royer will be here. She hasn't been scoping a whole lot, but she will be on our show.
Love her.
Yeah.
She's on the website too.
Yeah, Laura's going to be here. So Laura will be here Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I have a Christian attorney who's going to talk about divorce, just so you know.
Ooh, been there, done that.
Well, it's interesting. Her name's Stacy, and she's actually going to talk about the struggle with Christians getting divorced and all this other stuff. I have actually asked Pastor Cindy. I haven't actually been able to set that up. Actually, Cat Ello, she's going to be coming on our show soon, and so is Jason.
Woo.
Jason Wallace will be on as well. I got to book both of those guys. But I have asked both of them. They will come on eventually.
Awesome.
So...
But what does this Bible say? The laborer is worthy of their hire. So yeah, definitely support Stacy and Bible News Radio, guys. Do it. Why is it that in the Christendom, if we say here's something, we're offering it to you, and it costs this much, that's not a lot of money, but people criticize. But if it's something worldly, nobody says a thing.
Well, I think that there's a couple of reasons for that. I think that, unfortunately, I hate to be so bold about it. I think that there's so many hucksters in the church that the people who aren't get a bad rap. I mean, the media makes a point of pointing out when people are being fleeced, by the wolves. And a lot of us, like you and me, we're not really in this for the money. If I was in this for the money, I wouldn't be here. Just so you know. I actually was challenged by a homosexual activist one time. He's like, well, you're in it for the money. And I said, I'll tell you what, Joe. His name was Joe. I said, Joe, how about you go and show me your bank account right now? And I'll show you mine. We'll put it both on the screen. I can see where you get your money, and you can see where I get my money, and we'll just see who's doing this for the money, who has more influence and gets more support. And this is, and he's like, no, it's nobody's business. I'm like, well, you know what? You would lose, hands down, because number one, I would show you how much money I actually give out of my, quote, lack, the widow's mite, and you being funded by the gay activist community. It's funny. Evil will fund evil. But good doesn't fund good. And it's so interesting because Sunday night at my church, our pastor talked about giving, and it was at 2 Corinthians chapter 8, right?
Right.
And anyway, what my pastor said was he actually made a point. He said, I don't like talking about giving and all this other stuff. Hey, Jen, Dr. Jennifer Fee, Gold Star, anxiety, psychologist. I was going to say psychotherapist. That's what I was going to say. psychologist is in the house. Anyway, but anyway, he was talking about how he hates to talk about giving because of that very issue, and he was standing up here like this, and and all this other stuff. But he made a really, really good point, which I had never heard before, or I hadn't heard it put that way. And he was saying that God wants us to give equally, which is part of the reason why he laid out in the Old Testament the 10% rule. So if the widow's mite, if I make $10 an hour and I make $100 a week or whatever, and I give $10, and Bill Gates makes $1 million, he gives whatever 10% of that is, then
100,000.
Yeah, then that's it across the board. Actually, one of the things my pastor said, and you can weigh in on this, because he said it really bothers him that we tip people in restaurants more than we do God. And he said, is there anybody else that bothers? I yelled out, yeah, it bothers me, because it does bother me. It irritates me that now it's like 15, 20% you're supposed to give a waitress or a waiter. Here's the difference. Those people chose to be in that career. I didn't make them be in that career. You know what I mean? So what do you think about that? I mean, you're a pastor and everything, so your word is gold.
Yeah, okay. But you know what? It's still the same subject, but unfortunately, because I've known throughout all my life people that waitress and waiter, and this is a very, very sad thing to say, but they say this is what they tell me, whether they're Christian or not, that the worst tippers are Christians. Mm-hmm. That is instantly what they always say. The worst tippers are Christians, and they say some of them will say, "Well, I barely give 10% to God. Why do you want 20?"
Right.
I'm like, wow, really? It's just amazing to me. It's like, what? I don't get it. Why is to me, the two biggest strongholds to show if God's really got your heart is if you can control your mouth, and that's probably the number one.
Amen.
And then does he have control of your wallet? If he has control of those things, then you're doing pretty good. But most Christians, nope.
Yeah. Well, and the issue too, and Larissa and I were actually talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and the issue is that for some reason people have a hard time paying more for services than they do a product. And it's really true. I mean, you can have some people have no, I mean, okay, let's say this. I've known people that go and spend $5 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. If you were, and they do it every day, right? So let's say that's like $35 a week if you go all 7 days. You multiply that by 4. Come on, microphone, stay there, wouldn't you? This thing doesn't want to stay. Stay. Jesus did it. Okay. Anyway, the thing is, okay, so that's $70, $100. That's what, $140 a month, right? But a ministry that gets like, give me $25 a month, or even $10 a month, or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. It's just too much. It's out of my comfort zone.
Well, I'd like to disagree with that for just a moment.
Disagree with what?
Well, that people will pay more for a product than they will a service. I think that's generally true. People like to have something tangible. When they purchase something, they have it. You want off the screen, so
I don't care.
All right. It's like you were hesitating there to take a drink. Anyway, but people, while it's true, generally people, look at an hourly wage, the plumber or whoever comes in and makes $100 an hour or whatever, and I could break that down, but I'm not going in there. But the one intangible that people will pay way more than will for product is entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get those season tickets on the 50-yard line or whatever and pay hundreds and hundreds and not thousands of dollars.
Get your season tickets to Bible News Radio.
They will. They will, go to a concert and, wait in line, camp out overnight, to get those prime tickets. And then there's nothing tangible whatsoever out of all that money. It's an experience. They'll pay for that. But for some reason, people in entertainment, in the movies and sports, they're making the most money of all because people pay the most money for that. But anyway, but when it comes to spiritual enrichment. It's like, that ought to be free. In fact, you ought to pay me for listening to you. But anyway, I'll be quiet now.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing, and I'll just say this and let Rick say something because he is the guest after all. The thing is that God has shown me, and this is controversial, just so you know, God has showed me not to depend on his people, but to depend on him.
Amen.
Yeah.
And you know, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Don't depend on God. Don't depend on my people, Stacy. Depend on me.
Sounds biblical. Jesus did not commit himself to man, for he knew what was in man.
Yes, except for in the book of Acts, though, it says that whenever they had a need, the need was being met, right? Okay, Rick, what do you think?
Well, I mean, in Acts, everybody pulled everything together so that nobody had a need.
Right.
But I mean, Jesus didn't think anything was a big deal as far as money. He's like, oh, we need to pay taxes? Go fishing. There's a coin in the fish's mouth. No problem. We got this. Like, so if we would just trust God that way, and I think also if we would, instead of just, because I think most people just, if they even give anything, like they'll throw $1 in and they're like, yeah, I did something. Woo-woo. I think if you actually prayed and asked God, what do you want me to give today? But they don't want to do that because then they know God's going to tell them a bigger number than $1. So if people actually prayed and asked God, you know, what do you want me to give? I think things would be a lot better in churches. We wouldn't have as much need as we do, you know, in churches.
Well, I think, isn't it like something like only 10% of people actually donate in an actual church?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jennifer, do you know? Or anybody, do you guys know? I think that's the number. I think it's really low. I think it's, you know, and because churches are always looking, you know, so yeah.
I mean, you go to the movies and it's like you spend how much money for the ticket? Then if you want popcorn, how much money is the popcorn? Then the soda. By the time at the end of the night, you spend at least $30, at least. And then you walk out of there and what do you have to hold in your hand? Nothing.
Right. Right.
And then we have these prophets on Periscope and other places, and they're like, you know, oh, give to me, give to me, give to me. And then their prophecies don't even come true. And again, you just gave all this money and you got nothing.
Yeah, Jennifer said it's 3 to 5% in the church, and I think she would know because you know, and that's pretty good. And Gina, yes, I did eat tonight, and so yes, my basic needs have been met. However, that goes back to the point of the you know, the issue of a laborer being worthy, right, of his wage. And here's the other thing too God has shown me, and that is that, at least for me, you know, if the emails I get, the Marco Polos I get, different things I get where, you know, I'm being told that God's used the show to enhance and make their life better, I'm thinking, man, that to me is gold, but that doesn't pay the bills, you know.
Right.
So, you know, that's the thing.
I mean, if somebody is constantly blessing you and you just take, and you never give anything, you know?
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? It's hard, yeah.
And I do this for free too. Like since 2015, I've been doing this for free. I got shirts and whatever and all that stuff on the website. But lucky if I make $1 or $2 off of any of those things. People are like, that's all you make? I'm like, yes, I'm not in this for the money.
Right.
I make the price really low so you guys can get this stuff. I want you guys to have this stuff, represent the tribe, and then the stuff with the affirmations, like the poster up there behind me. That's for your benefit. So you could read that every day and see who you are in Christ. Remind yourself, because Lord knows the devil's trying to tell us you're worthless nothing all day as it is. So it's like, you know, it's something that you can have and keep, and, you know, helps me pay to do my giveaways for every 1,000,000 hearts I give. Like I spend at least $20-$25 for a giveaway. I'm like, ain't nobody paying me for that. I'm doing it out of my pocket. So
yep, it's so true. It's so true. So it looks like our whole hour is already gone.
Oh wow.
Can you believe it? We have so much fun together.
I know. It's like we're brother and sister and didn't know it.
So what was one of your biggest blessings this week? I want to know. Besides losing all that weight, slim, skinny man, flash.
This week, well, I guess taking on the pastor role, I guess, is a blessing. But man, as soon as that came, boy.
Yeah. So why did you decide to do that? Because we were in Pastor Pete's scope, and all of a sudden, no, it was Cynthia's scope. We were in
Yeah.
Cynthia, and all of a sudden, Pastor Rick Costa comes up. I'm like, Pastor Rick Costa in my mind, and then Pastor Pete asked you about it. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so tell us why you all of a sudden decided you wanted to embrace the name pastor and all that comes with it.
It just was time. I do a prayer call with the Jesus Did It team, and we discussed it there too. And they're like, this is who you are. Be who you are. Embrace it. Everybody calls you that anyway. And it's like, you know what? Take the name, and it's who you are. Just be who you are. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop kind of running from it and just embrace it. And boy, the minute I did, man, oh man.
So can you tell us anything that happened that was good as a result, as opposed to like, I can't believe this just happened to me?
I mean, people just say, congratulations and all that stuff. But now it's like, now I got to get in the trenches and deal with stuff that I kind of just ignored before. And now God's like, well, guess what, buddy? You got the title. Now you got to do the work. Yay. So yeah, I was joking with somebody on somebody's scope. Oh, it was Larissa's. And I said, sorry, I wasn't here earlier, but I was adulting and pastoring. I was like, wow. So it's like, yeah, people think it's an easy job, and oh my gosh, it's so not, because people are interesting. Let's say it the nice way. People are interesting, and people clash, and people get hurt easily, and it's just, there's a lot to it. But then, you look for the good, and you look for the benefit that people get and the help that people get. I mean, I don't even know how many things happened this week that people testified over and over. God did this, God did that. I mean, that's like a normal basis now. It's almost like, it's still shocking, but it's almost not shocking, because like God's always doing really cool stuff. Somebody got a job we prayed for, and they hadn't got a job for the longest time, and somebody's cousin got healed, something like that. Just so much stuff. And it's just like, I don't know, God is really cool, and I'm just honored and humbled that he even uses me at all. But I always say, if God can use a donkey, God can even use me.
Yeah, the cool thing about, Balaam's donkey that I really liked is that it was a girl donkey. And the testimony of a female donkey over a male donkey was considered unjust in the Jewish law. No, I'm kidding about that.
I was going to say, this is new.
No, it actually was a girl donkey though, right, Randall?
I didn't know that.
It was. It's actually a female donkey. So just imagine this. Here you are, Balaam. You're on the donkey, you're hitting it, you're doing all this other stuff, and the donkey's seeing the angels and all this stuff, and next thing you know, it says, hey, Balaam, would you watch out? What the heck are you trying to do? I mean, whatever. Why am I doing a girl's voice like that? I am a girl, dang it, darn it. So, but anyway, so, you know what I'm saying? So, that, and the funny part, everybody always laughs about how he just instantly reacted and responded, and I'm thinking, well, why would that be, like, abnormal? Do you not talk to your dog or your cat? I mean, come on, people. The donkey is probably similar to, but anyway.
I mean, the serpent in the garden talked to them.
Yeah, right.
Didn't God say?
That was my donkey voice, I guess. It was more like my Tina the Tiny Termite voice. Hello, I'm Tina the Tiny Termite. Okay, that's Tina the Tiny Termite was. Do you remember way back in the day when there was answering machines?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, so you remember you got your answer machine and you had the button and you could change your outgoing message whenever the heck you wanted. So yep. I decided, this was way back in the 90s, right? Like way back, years ago.
Last century.
Last century. I remember I had this, I just love doing outgoing messages. So I did this like saga with Tina the Tiny Termite. So I created Tina the Tiny Termite, because really, is there any big termite? I mean, seriously. But I was like, hello, this is Tina the Tiny Termite, and I'm trapped inside my answering machine, and the only way I could get out is if you leave a message. Please let me out. Please, please, please. And, some people would actually call my house just to listen to my outgoing message for the day, because they wanted to see if Tina would ever get outside my answering machine.
That's funny.
That's the weirdest thing that you've ever heard, right?
That's funny. My mom still uses an answer machine.
Yeah. Well, that's good. See, look at all these people. Yeah, there you go, right there. I just back to your pastor thing. You know, Jennifer, Dr. Fee, Dr. Jennifer Fee, always says that people are messy.
Yes. Yes.
But and her and me have been having some deep theological discussions lately. And you know, one of the things that you know I'm learning in my Christian walk, and I've shared this a lot lately, because it's really where I'm at, is that if we say, you know, first of all, a lot of people just throw out the word love, which irks me personally. I don't like it when people just say, I love you for no reason, right? Like, don't tell me you love me unless you really love me. Okay. Just saying, people, because then it cheapens it. It's a lot harder to say, I feel loved by you than it actually is to say, I love you, because it has this different connotation to it. But here's the thing. If we're supposed to love the way that God says in 1 Corinthians 13, you know, then that means, I mean, think about this. Love is patient, kind, gentle, doesn't, you know, speak ill of the other person, you know, the good report thing, all that whole thing, the whole chapter talks about, right? Love never fails, etc. If we really do that, then when there is a mess in the relationship anywhere, then here's the thing. You got to love all that person. You can't love just part of the person. You got to love it all, right? And yeah. I was telling Jennifer that I don't think any of us are unconditional lovers. In fact, I can't find one person that is an unconditional lover except Christ. Jesus is the only one that knows me inside out, and he still loves me anyway. Romans 5:8, you know, I think it is. It says that Christ died for us while we were yet sinners, right? Christ died for us. So I don't know many people that would die for me personally, but I would hope that somebody would besides the Lord. But the point is that it's hard to be in community and not get hurt, because we all have expectations. We all have our own understanding of God's word. We all have our own experiences with God. And until we get to the place where we can go, okay, look, this isn't all about me. This is about you, way more than it is about me. Then, you know, then that's where the healing in the body can come. Because I think what's happened here online is what hopefully will happen locally in everybody's church, because there's so many people disenfranchised, myself included. I mean, I could tell you a horror story, but I'm not going to. But there's a lot of people that come to our scopes that they won't step foot into a church because they weren't heard, they weren't loved where they were at, even though they were supposedly loved. And that's not what it's about.
There's some out here right now that I know don't go to church because they've been hurt by church. Church hurt is a real thing. And you know what? People forget. Jesus humbled himself so much that he got on his hands and knees and washed the disciples' feet. That was a slave's job. That was like the lowest of the lowest thing you could do. But so many ministers act the total opposite. They act like, you know, well, I'm this and I'm that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like so opposite of Jesus. Jesus was a servant. He came to serve. And it's like, that's such a lacking thing. And that's part of the thing like I'm having to deal with now is just reminding people that we are servants. You know, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about what you like. It's not about what you prefer. It's about serving people and loving on people, really, really loving them. And like you said, in all of their totality, with all the stuff that they have and with all that, nobody likes everybody, but we're supposed to love everybody, because if not, but for the grace of God, I'd be going to hell right now.
Right.
So who am I to judge anybody? So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and Randall's giving me the swirly sign, like, wrap it up, wife. Therefore I shall submitteth unto him. But here's the other thing though too, is that the first commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, body, and strength, right?
Yeah.
If we got that one down, we wouldn't have to worry about number 2.
Yeah.
It's true. But the thing is so few people actually do number 1.
Yeah.
But
I always say, like, if you get close to God, the closer you get to God, it's like the closer you get to a fire, you get warmer and warmer and warmer. And if you actually jumped into the fire, you get on fire, you turn into the fire. So it's like the closer we get to God, the more we get transformed into his likeness and his image. And we know God is love, but the closer we get to him, the more we will demonstrate love. So I don't care about how many degrees you have, how many titles you have, how many things you say you do, blah, 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 blah. If I don't see love pouring out of you, genuine love, the love of Christ, the love of God coming out of you for people, you're not impressing me at all. It's not.
Yeah. Well, and so hopefully we can all build each other up in that because, you know, because like I was telling Jennifer earlier today that, you know, we, you know, love your neighbor. Unbelievers quote that all the time. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Everybody knows the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
But it only comes out when people want to use it against you. Have you ever thought about that? Because it's really true.
Yeah. Just like the judge not unless you be judged.
Right. It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm doing my best, and I hope that you would understand. I mean, if we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know until we know it. Yeah. And, you know, and
we're not in everybody else's shoes to know what they're going through, you know what? And how we react to a situation is not necessarily how somebody else is going to react to the situation, because they weren't necessarily brought up like the way we were. Maybe you're like we can judge somebody and say, well, I wouldn't have did that. Well, you know what? You didn't grow up in their life. You didn't grow up in their household. Maybe they were raped by their dad, and so they're freaked out because a guy showed them kindness. But you're going to judge them saying, why were you so mean to them? You know, but you don't know the backstory. So we need to stop. Like one of the things I always say, I should make a shirt out of this. The church needs to stop being Holy Ghost Jr. There's one Holy Spirit. His job is to convict. Okay, not our job. Our job is to spread the gospel, the good news. It's good news. Stop being Holy Spirit Jr. Let him do his job. His job is to convict the world of sin and us. But, you know, we need to stop doing that. And just our job is to spread the message and to love each other.
Amen. Holy Spirit Jr. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You know, you made it even a guy, which is, you know, appropriate for God. So, but yeah, that's very, very, very good. All right. Well, I hate to do it but, you know, we have boundaries. So you want to give us your closing statement, Pastor Flash?
Pastor Flash. Well, I love you guys. I don't really know what else to say. And I'll be on later if you want to come see me.
All right. Well, of course, we love you too. And everybody out there, don't forget that tomorrow is Saturday.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? It's Saturday, which means I get to go play pickleball for a couple hours.
Yes.
And then on Sunday, there is Randall will be on. But let me just tell you really fast. Our guest for next week, on Monday night, it's just going to be me, because Bareface is going to be at an HOA meeting. On Tuesday, Jeff Kinley is going to be talking about his book about prophecy in America. Is the end of America near? The answer is yes. On Wednesday, Laura Royer, go catch your money or chase your money. Catch your money. Do something about your money. Laura's going to be on. And then Thursday, we have Stacy. I don't know how to say her last name. I'll figure it out before the interview. But she's an attorney she's a divorce attorney for Christians. She's going to be on. And then I think Friday, I don't think I have a guest on Friday either. So, and then we have, I'm literally booked, you guys, pretty much through most of September already into October. So just want to let you know that, you know, we could actually, you know, pray for us if you don't mind. Your prayers matter. I know somebody said, you know, I can't give to you financially. You know what? Drop me a line and tell me you're praying for me. Let me know. Okay, that helps. I know HO meetings they're so fun. Not. You know, they're like Snoozeville. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Get the Jesus Did It t-shirt or sticker or whatever. Go to jesusdidit.org. And you can become a pillar, support Ariel Ministry, get the class, stop lying to yourself. And, you know, just go and love on somebody today. I don't care who it is. Just go tell them you love them, give them a hug, tell them you want to understand them more, and watch what happens. You would be surprised what could happen. So, like I always say at the end of every show, unless I forget because of perimenopause, be bold, stand up and go with God, because He loves you.
butterfly.
I know. That was cool. I like the butterfly. I saw that yesterday.